Hello everyone, I'm James, your local civil celebrant. I'm just going to talk to you about funeral celebrancy, something that I do as part of my role as a celebrant. A funeral is a vital part of someone's journey through life. It's the final goodbye. And families require this to be able to finalise and put to rest that person. A good funeral celebrant, though, makes it a celebration. That doesn't mean it belittles or puts aside the grief and mourning that takes place. Those things are part of the process. People need to be able to cherish the memories and sort of have a fond farewell. A civil celebrant funeral can be as religious or atheist as the deceased wished, because often the deceased have expressed their wishes before their death to their family, and their family then relay that to the celebrant, and the ideal funeral is put together. It can also reflect the loved ones around them. So the family and the deceased are the only people that matter when writing and officiating a funeral. A celebrant, once elected to do your family's funeral for the loved one that you've lost, will contact you. This may be a family visit where he will collect or she will collect memoirs, memories, information, key events, all the things that are needed to write a tribute. They also collect maybe pieces of music that are chosen by the family or have been requested. It may also be a point where you would let them know what poems or readings or prayers that you'd like to be included. Because as I just said, the funeral can be as religious or unreligious as you'd like. So a civil celebrant funeral could actually be not far off that of a church funeral. Equally, it could be almost humanist, where there is no mention of God, prayer, or readings from any religious text. It could be a mixture of the two. We could have readings from a favourite book, followed by the Lord's Prayer. It's completely up to the individual if they had expressed things before they had died, or the family which knew them best. Usually, a funeral director will choose a celebrant for you. You will say you want a civil funeral as opposed to a religious funeral led by a member of the clergy. They will then choose one of their go-to celebrants, and they would pass that role to them, and then the celebrant would contact you. However, you are free to choose your own celebrant, and should you wish for me to be your civil celebrant, you can give my details, my name and my number on my website, Facebook page, etc., to your funeral director. It is your obligation, not theirs. I would then be contacted by them and the same role would be given to me. That's completely up to you. And even if it's not a funeral director I normally work with, if I am asked via the FD, the funeral director, or by the family themselves, then I will endeavour to oblige to do that for you. A civil funeral usually takes place in a crematorium or at a burial ground. It can take place in other places with the discretion of a funeral director, and that would be discussed with them. But usually at a crematorium, in a chapel. Now, the word chapel we tend to associate with faith, but actually the chapel, I see it as just a meeting space. We can make it as religious or as unreligious as you wish, because the content of the ceremony, the service, will dictate that. Usually the restraints on a civil funeral is time. Most civil celebrant funerals at a crem are around 20 to 30 minutes long, so there is a restriction to be considered there. But you'd be amazed at how wonderful and how beautiful a send-off we can give in that time. So get in touch if you have recently lost a loved one, and I'm very sorry if that has happened to you, but let's give them the farewell they deserve. If you'd like to talk further about some of the things that I can offer, please don't hesitate to contact. Thank you very much.